Welcome back to the Unleashing. I have a quick dream I had yesterday night that I want to share, and I think it's prophetic. And when I woke up, I wrote it down, of course. I didn't want to go back to sleep and forget it or anything like that, but it was really interesting, and I'm going to give you the whole gist of it and everything like this. It'll be a quick video, but I just want to share it because I thought it was important. So, last weekend, I pick up this pipe, right? Like a tobacco pipe. I used to smoke cigarettes back in the day, and I quit back in, like, when I was 22, right? It was when I was in Fallujah, Iraq. And I used to smoke from, like, 14 or 15 up to then. But after quitting, like, several times, I had finally kicked it for good. And, every once in a while, I mean, it's rare, I'll have like a cigar or something like that, or I have in the past, right? Well, I always thought that pipes were kind of cool, you know, like the old-fashioned ones and stuff like that, and I was up camping last weekend, and I picked one up, and I grabbed some tobacco, and it smelled amazing, and some of the good smelling stuff, you know. And so anyways, I went up and I went camping and I puffed on it a little bit, and then that was it. And then the other day, right before I took off to work, I was sitting around and I was talking with some friends, and I puffed on it again. And one thing about me and tobacco, and this has always been the case, whenever I was quitting, my abilities would start fluctuating. They would go red line, drop, high, low, and all over the place. And my senses would just start going berserko. It was crazy. And, you know, I just thought it was because my body was reacting to me quitting smoking or something like that. But I don't think that's the case anymore. And just before I even get started, I've never looked at tobacco as a salvation issue. I know there's people out there that are trying to quit and everything like that. Yeah, more power to you. That's great. You know, there's reasons why I think the government doesn't want people to smoke, which I totally turn into another topic. But you know, or if God has put it on your heart that you need to quit or whatever else, then yeah, definitely go for it, you know, or if you're doing it for your health and stuff like that. And I always wanted to quit so that I could breathe better for fighting, right? So it wasn't, you know, but I don't consider it like a salvation issue. It doesn't mess with you in that way, right? So anyways, I'm puffing on my pipe the other day, and I go out to my yard. It's like 100 miles away because I got to do a delivery the next day, and it was yesterday, right? And so I got to start really early in the morning. So I go to bed in the truck, and I had never had this happen before in this way, but I mean, I can't smoke tobacco anymore, period, now after this, but tobacco and me, it has a light psychedelic effect on me. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that until this had happened the other day. And of course, you know, my intuitiveness and everything like that, my abilities and stuff, they've only grown over time. So not smoking for so long and then doing it now, like it was pretty easy to pick. But as soon as I went to bed that night, stuff was just sparking and popping like crazy. I kept hearing voices that were talking to me and stuff like that, and it was waking me up. And twice I woke up and flipped over real quick because somebody was standing in my truck, right? But I couldn't see them. They weren't there, but I sensed them, right? And it woke me up out of my sleep. I'm a very, very light sleeper, right? And I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, this is crazy, man. And it was the veil. It had thinned the veil into the next realms or whatever else. And I'm like, good grief, dude, it's freaking tobacco. Well, it looks like this is out the window. So, like I say, I'm hearing some voices and I can't sleep, and, you know, my senses are going nuts. And I'm like, well, that's it, you know, and I prayed to God, and I'm like, hey, you know, I rebuke anything that's going on right now and stuff like that, and I just prayed that I have a good night's sleep, right? So I go to sleep, and poof, I have this dream, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys real fast, but I want to give you a little backstory. I have this dream, all right, and in the dream, I'm in Congress, right? everybody's there, and it's not the Congress building. It's like a whole government facility. All of government basically is in this building that has multiple rooms and areas, and you could move out through it. So it was kind of facilitating, showing, even though it was in one big building, it was showing it was all of government and stuff like that, right? And I knew it was 11:30 at night in the dream. In the dream, it was 11:30 at night. And I knew at 12 o'clock, the Antichrist was going to be imbued by Satan himself, and he was going to have power, right? And I knew that in the dream, and I knew that we were running out of time. And I looked at my clock or my watch in the dream, and I'm like, I have a half an hour to do this. And I don't know exactly what I was going to do, but I go down into this wing or whatever in this opening, and I step right into Barack Obama's office, right? And I say, listen up, Barry. I had no idea what I was going to say. But, and I got his attention when I said that, right? He instantly saw it. But one of the things that was interesting is, like usual, he had like a plexiglass. It was almost like getting up to a cash register's booth in like a bank or something like that. He constantly has bulletproof glass and protection around him, right? And I knew in a half an hour he was going to get power, and he was waiting for it. And I couldn't see who was in charge of this government at the time, somebody off in the distance, but all of them, or whatever was going to happen, it was being facilitated that he was going to be given power. He was going to step into his Antichrist role, right? And there was no time left. It was literally in a half an hour. And right when I was about to chew Barry out, or give him a piece of my mind, or yank him over that plexiglass, I hear them yelling throughout the whole thing. It was like, what the heck did they call it? It was Red Watch. It was Red Watch or Red Shift. It was Red something like that, right? And I walk out of there and I'm looking around, and there's multiple people, just like the Bible says, you know, the Antichrist, he doesn't do it with his own power. He has a whole facilitation of people that are working, a little army. And if you don't know, they created Barry Soetoro, aka Barack Obama. He's a creation. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about like building him up. I mean, they literally made him from birth, like the movie Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was a creation right from the start, right? And he's out of Egypt. And they taught him in magic and all kinds of other stuff like that. They want him to be the Antichrist, and they've given him power. They've facilitated, and they've all encouraged and stuff like that. They want him to rule, all right? Anyways, and he is the Antichrist, okay? And every single time I have a dream or vision or anything like that, which has been so many now, he is the Antichrist. Every single time in the dream, I know it. He always has an idea that I know it. And he was in this one too as well, right? And they're yelling this Red Watch. So, and it was another government, I think it was an FBI agent that was saying it. And the Red Watch was, they were shutting down all electronics, and they were doing it on purpose. Internet, phones, and anything like that, right, in this Red Watch. And they were saying in the dream that they were doing it for because of terrorist cyber attacks. They were doing it so that they could isolate the terrorists and basically stop it was happening, right? So they had to shut down our internet so they wouldn't do it. But in the dream, I knew exactly what they were doing. They were lying, right? They shut down everybody's internet and phones because they were about to do a power grab, the biggest power grab of all time. They were going to basically, there was more than just the government that this was happening in. I got the whole sense inside the dream that this was a worldwide facilitation they were doing. They were taking over the world, but basically this was from like the American standpoint here, American government, right? And I ended up moving into another wing, and I was talking to somebody. And the guy looked like Jeff Bridges, kind of. He was like a teacher or whatever. There was a bunch of them there, and I just grabbed him. I was like, you realize what they're about to do, right? This is about to be the biggest power grab in the history of the world right now, what they're doing. They're doing it right now. We have less than a half an hour, and there's nothing we can do after this is done. They're going to do it, and it's going to be done, and we'll never get it back. And I started crying in the dream, like tears came into my eye, right? I'm thinking about America, and, you know, I'm a patriot and stuff and a veteran anyway, so like, I mean, it's already an emotional thing to me, the people that have died and sacrificed so much sacrifice, and these bastards have gotten away with what they're doing and what they're about to do, right? And I'm telling this guy this, what they're about to do. And he just looked at me and he said, I know. And all these guys that I'm talking to that are members of government and other high positions, this was like a teacher sort of person I was talking to, they all knew it, but by this time it was too late. There was nothing that they could do. It just was going to happen no matter what. And then I woke up. And I was startled, and I'm like, good grief, will this night end already? And I'm laying there for a second, and I looked at my clock, and it was 2:05 a.m., right? And this was August 12th, so it was just yesterday, and it was 2:05 in the morning, and it was super real, right? I'm like, gosh dang it. I mean, and like I say, in the dream, I knew that Barack was about to be imbued by Satan, and they were about to give him the power to become the Antichrist and stuff like that. And he was on standby, even though he wasn't in power in the dream. He was working in a little wing. That was all just a mirage. Even the person I sensed in the distance that was like president or whatever else, that was just to facilitate a facade at the time. And then they were going to usher in him in a half an hour at 12 o'clock, and I knew that was going to happen right at midnight. And like I say, I woke up, but I knew all that stuff that was happening in the dream, and it was just so close. And it was literally right in the last half an hour of everything. And I mean, it just shows the proximity of this. But when I woke up and I looked at my clock and stuff like that, I'm like, that was a dream from you, wasn't it, God? And I'm like, all right, I'll write it down. So I rolled over real fast, grabbed my notepad, and kind of wrote down write down the notes and stuff like that so I wouldn't forget, which can kind of happen, And anyways, and then I went to sleep again, and I didn't have any more dreams or anything that night. But I just wanted to share that quick little dream that I had there, and I tried to do it yesterday. I've been slammed ever since I had the dream. I feel like there's something coming against me that's trying to keep me from talking about it or whatever else. But I just got to a spot, so I'm waiting for a little bit, and I wanted to tell about that dream. But yeah, it was pretty nuts. It felt really real, and it was kind of like an overview of government, world government, and everything. Like they're a half an hour away from this whole thing kicking off. It's just right there, and Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, is literally waiting in the wing, and they're going to give him all the power and stuff like that. It's disgusting, and I couldn't get my hands on him in the dream, but I wanted to. I was about to rip him a new one. And I knew I had to get to him before Satan got to him. I didn't want to be there by the time the half an hour was up, so I raced down there first because it was like a last second thing, I didn't want Satan was in him, that I wouldn't be able to do anything, but I thought that I could beforehand. So anyways, it's kind of an interesting dream. But that's all I wanted to share. All right. So I wanted to share. I told God that I would, so that's all I'm putting out in this video. It's pretty quick, but anyways, pretty interesting. The whole thing was pretty interesting, and like I say, if you don't know how close we are, you're not paying attention. We're half a step away right now from losing everything and this whole thing going down, and the tribulation starting. War, the end of days. If you're not right with God, I encourage people to do it. I can't emphasize enough. There's just not that many people ready, and more and more people just keep sharing visions and visions and visions, that there's not that many people that go up. Don't listen to these once saved, always saved guys talking about trusting in the finished works, right? I've done video after video on that. These guys are an abomination, all right? And they want to drag you to hell. They are cowards, and they're the first ones that are going to turn when this happens and turn Christians in, because that's what cowards do, all right? They betray. They are turncoats, and that's what's going to happen, okay? Do not listen to them. Do not fall for it. All right, walk the line the absolute best that you can and repent every day. Walk with God, and don't listen to that crap, all right? There's so many questions they can't ask, like deliverance, all right? The once saved, always saved community cannot answer the deliverance question when somebody wants to walk away from sin and get saved, because that is considered works to them. So now you're stuck in meth addiction or whatever else. They won't answer it. They can't answer it, okay? It's a righteous walk. It's different from works. It's part of the original commitment when you ask God in your life. All right? That's what it is. Don't fall for any traps, okay? It's so close right now. It really is. So, anyways, I just wanted to share this quick dream. But God bless. I'll catch you next time on the leashing. All right, bye.